Hello, my people. This is my space in your place. This is Joanna. And I just thought I'd turn my camera backwards. I was looking at a little TV. But I just want to come and I want to tell you something. I want to tell you a little short story. So go ahead on and thumbs up my video. Share it with a friend. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to tell you about the importance of, talking to your children about life. Not being afraid to tell them about life. That's emergencies or whatever. Give you an example of what I'm going to say is something when I told my grandson. I say, baby, they were over for the weekend, and I say, hun, excuse me, I'm drinking my coffee and relaxing, just getting up really. And I says, baby, I said, if you're here and grandma is lying on the sofa and I'm laying in one spot and you come by and look over at me, maybe going to the kitchen, because normally I'm laying on the sofa when he's here, because my granddaughter have my bedroom and he's in the spare bedroom. So I say, and if grandma, is laying on the sofa asleep, and then you come back maybe 2-3 hours later to get something out of the kitchen, and I'm in the same spot. I haven't moved if you looked over there at me. Maybe the TV have gone off and I'm in the dark or whatever. I say then you come back in the morning, the same thing. I said, what would you do? I said, would you just pass by me for days? Or would you say, well, something is wrong with grandma, because he's only 12. Something's wrong with grandma, and I need to, check on my grandma. And so I say, what would you do, babe? And he say, well, I told him what he should do. I say, if that should happen, I say, grandma wants you to shake me. Come up, shake me to see if grandma is all right. And then I say, and if I don't answer you, what you should do is dial 911. Dial 911. Because something is wrong with grandma. Don't just keep going by, passing by, and you don't, and grandma don't say nothing. So that's to let you know that you should really talk to your children, because, like I tell you all the time, we are our children's teachers. We lead them. We are their leaders, and we lead by examples. And they only know what we teach them. That's why we have to be careful what they learn from other people, and and stuff like that. And so, the thing of it is that when one day, this was back in, let me see, my oldest son graduated in 92, and my oldest son graduated in 1992. So what I did was I I told my daughter that I told my daughter what she should do. I had a long talk with my daughter. Okay. I told my daughter, now this is a miracle here. I told my daughter one day, she and I were together. I say, honey, I say uh if you and I, if you look at mama, just say if you look at mama and I don't look right, and I'm not talking, and I say, and you ask me a question or something, and I just like stare at you, something is not right. I say, I want you to dial 911. Call for help. Dial 911 if you are here by yourself. I say, notice me. I say, just like if I come home from work and I'm not acting right, or I'm not, saying anything to anyone, you should call 911. All right. Now, I had told her that like a week before this happened. Honey, one day, I went and I came home from work. And I came home from work, honey. And all day at work, I had been feeling really, really bad. And matter of fact, I was watering the train that day. And I was feeling so dizzy, like I was high of drugs or something. I wasn't feeling myself. I was like on cloud 9. I was something like seeing stars, And I was lightheaded, and I didn't know what was going on, but I kept on working, and I kept saying, oh boy, I can't wait to get home, So, next thing I know, when I got home, I was feeling so bad. I walked right by my children. They were all out we lived in a nice community where the kids could play even in the streets in their neighborhood, right? Everybody's houses across, from each other and everything. And I drove up, and I was just right, got out of the car, and I barely spoke to my children. I barely spoke to the children. And she noticed that. My daughter noticed it. And I went in the house, and I said, when she said she looked at me. Like I asked her, I said later on, but anyway, she looked at me. And she followed me on into the house. I was so dazed out, honey. Go ahead on and like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is Joanna, and I'm doing story time. The importance of teaching your children. We are their teachers. I mean, about everything when it crosses your mind, when the Spirit speaks to you, listen and do it. Tell them, like I told my daughter that day, because the Spirit told me to do it, and I did it. And it was for a reason. So I came on into the house, you guys. Yes, I was so out of it until I laid on the bed with one leg down on the floor and one up on my bed. Yes. And I laid back and I was so out of it. My face was, she told me that my face was gray and clammy. You know what that was? It was salt. The salt had come to the surface of my skin and dried completely up. And when the salt come to my skin and dried up, I was feeling like, honey, I was leaving this earth. I was feeling lethargic. If anybody ever felt lethargic, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, I was lethargic, completely lethargic. So, oh my goodness, all I could do is look at my baby. She was, let me see, I got that house built in, I think it was, after my husband died, it was in 87, and I got it built, it was complete, I think I started building it in 88, because he died in November. Right over in 88, I started building that house, the last of it, in 89, and it was like, 89, that was something like 90, that was like 90, yes, 90, because I remember something had happened. It was in like a July 90, something like that. Then she looked at me and she said, Mama, are you all right? And I looked over at her. Honey, I couldn't even talk. She called 911, and I don't remember anything after that until when I got outside, the sun, I went out. I blanked out. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. I blanked out. I don't remember anything but my daughter, like, screaming, and she called. This is what she did. She called 911. She ran out and told her brothers that were outside. Them daughters, I'm telling you, they pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Because they mothers, all they have. And they look after their mothers. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, she said that she called the ambulance after she saw I was unresponsive like I had told her. And my face had turned gray and salty looking. And I could just stare at her and I couldn't speak. And she just dialed 911. Right then they had telephones right by the bed. You remember though. And she just picked it up and dialed 911. And so anyway, how I came out, I had gone out, lost consciousness, and what brought me through was when they wheeled me out, the sun was shining so bright. It kind of awakened me up, and I woke up and looked up at my two boys, my oldest son and my baby boy, and my children. Yes, my three children were looking at me like, well, and the boys, they were clueless. You know, 'cause my oldest had a basketball in his hand. and the baby was some skates on with his buddies. Where my daughter was strictly about business with the people, and so she was telling me she was gonna stay behind and call my sister, and she knew how to take care of business. What I'm saying is they're never too young to tell them about what to do in case of an emergency. That's even where you keep your emergency supplies and what to do. I mean, everything. Don't keep children in the dark like they're so young. They know more than what you think they do. Okay? I know they do. Because my daughter did exactly what we talked about, verbatim. Okay, so when I saw that, I couldn't even say anything. I might have looked at them, the boys, and said, "Mama gonna be all right," or something. I don't believe I did. But my daughter was trying to tell them that I was sick. So she had the job of not only getting her mother to safety, to the hospital, but calming her brothers down. One that was 4 years older and 4 years younger. Yes, my daughter was the one that kept both of them together. And at her age. And I think that she was about maybe 14. Yeah, something like that. I think she was about 14. 13. Yeah, 13. I believe she was 13 years old. And anyway, I went to the hospital, you guys, and guess what? Go ahead on and like and subscribe to my channel if you have not done it. Guess what, honey? I was internal bleeding. We don't pay attention to our bodies. I was having my monthly and I was bleeding really heavy and didn't pay attention to it. I just thought, I was young and, well, I was, how old then? I was 33 when my husband died, and I was like 35. And all I know, I was having heavy periods, and I needed to go to the gynecologist, which I was going to go. You know how you work so hard and you don't go? But anyway, I was bleeding internally, and I had the fibroid tumors. Cysts. The fibroid cysts, but it was not, was tumors, but it was not malignant, cancerous. But this is what happened. You're not going to believe this. You tell me God has not been protecting me ever since I was a child. But one of my ovaries had actually like bled out and was, the way he described it, it bled out an ovary. It bled out and I was bleeding my stomach. I knew my stomach was swelling, but I don't know what I thought. I know I went on a exercise regimen and even got the people on the job to get us a gym. And if anybody listens to this video that's from my hometown where I work, they know this is true. I got the company to get us a trailer and make it out of a gym so we could exercise. They put like 4 pieces of equipment in there for us. Look, I thought I needed to lose weight, but I was swelling. So you young girls, pay attention to your bodies. I was actually swelling inside. My ovary, the left ovary had burst. And guess what? That ain't just not all to the story. They could not give me any kind of pain medication or sedation. They had to go into my abdomen with a long needle, and because he would press and press to make sure they had gotten the blood out of the abdomen. And they could not do it if I was under. No. They had to actually do a procedure on me. I don't know what they call it, what was that? But they had to remove the blood from the abdomen cavity with a long needle. At the time, I was engaged to be married. So that was like maybe 3 years after my husband died. I was engaged, not married. But I didn't marry this man, but I was engaged to him. He was in there while they was doing it in a corner praying from the Bible. And because I was screaming. But the man say just a little bit more. They would just press down in my stomach and let it go. And if they press and it hurt real bad, that means there was blood. So he kept doing it and kept pulling all this blood out of my abdomen until they got it all out. When it was all done, he told me, he said, okay, in a few minutes, because they had the IV thing in my arm, and they say in a few minutes, you are going to be feeling very well. You are going to be feeling well in a few minutes. And so just hold on. And that's what they did. Oh boy, I did not, I had to have a surgery. And emergency, it took place at 7 o'clock. I got off from work at 4, so all this was transpiring until around, I guess, 5, 6, 7 o'clock maybe at night. It was out completely done, where I was being carried into my bedroom, and they told me that I was going to be going into surgery at 7 a.m. They had to remove one of my ovaries, and that was called an oophorectomy. So you have to pay attention to the bleeding and the blood clots. I mean, the profusely bleeding during menstrual period and the long periods. You know what I'm saying? Taking a shower and the clogging up shower. That is abnormal. So don't take those things for granted, and your stomach and your abdomen swelling. Young ladies, I hope you hear Miss Joanna. Yes, your abdomen swelling and things like that. Fibroid cysts, tumors can be forming on your ovaries and your uterus and stuff like that. Okay, that's my story time for the night, and I did not want to come before the camera because I've been late. Tell you the truth, I was up. I got up at 4 o'clock this morning, and I had just laid down, and I said I want to come and do a like story time with you tonight and let you know you are, like I say, mothers are ministers. We are born. Well, that's supposedly be our job and especially our daughters. And then when you have sons, you have to tell them too. But anyway, that's another story. That's a story that my daughter saved my life. Yes, my daughter saved my life when she was 13 years old. If it wasn't for my daughter being persistent and listening to me, listening to her mother, and not being silly, I would have been dead. I would have bled to death. And they told me that it was how did I think to just have a talk like that with my daughter? You know what I'm saying? That was a miracle. Everything planned out perfectly. And I want to tell you, I want to give God all the glory, all the praise belong to Him, not I. And my daughter was a instrument in all of this, praise God, and she was born for a reason. Yeah. And I love her so much. And that's one story that now each one of my children have played a part in my life, and that was one of the stories where my daughter played a very important role in my life. And I want to say thank you to my daughter tonight. Her birthday was the day after Christmas. Yes. So she was sick on her birthday, but anyway, this is Miss Joanna. She's all right now. Just talk to her. This is Miss Joanna, my space in your place, saying good night to you guys here in Anchorage, Alaska, where it's so cold, but I am so crispy warm inside. All right. Love you very much. My space in your place. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Good night.